Hello and good evening. My name is Andy and welcome to Ask a McMaster Marauder. Over the next 30 minutes, we'd like to give you the opportunity to ask your questions of our student panels, all McMaster Marauders, to learn about what student life looks like at McMaster University. If you've already submitted a question, thank you. If you'd still like to get in touch with us, you can send a tweet using the hashtag AskMcMaster or the Q&A box on our Google Events page. Before we get any further, though, I'll turn it over to our panel to introduce themselves so you know the Marauders who are speaking to you today.
So my name's AJ. I'm in the 4th year of the Arts and Sciences program, and I'm originally from Mississauga.
My name's Kimberly. I'm in 4th year of the Bachelor of Health Sciences program, and I'm also from Mississauga.
Hi, my name is Krishni. I'm in my 4th year of Life Sciences with a minor in Economics, and I'm from Markham.
Hi, I'm Devin. I'm in my 4th year of Communications and Multimedia, and I'm originally from Ottawa.
Hi, my name's Bridget. I'm in the 3rd year Medical Radiation Science program in the ultrasonography stream, and I'm from a very small town between Kingston and Ottawa.
And last but not least, I'm Paula. I'm the Assistant Registrar of Student Recruitment, and I'm also a proud McMaster alumni. I graduated with a degree in History and Political Science.
And my name is Andy. I'm a liaison here at the Student Recruitment Office as well as a graduate of McMaster's Political Science program. Now that you know who's speaking to you this evening, let's get started. We'll turn it back over to our student panelists to talk about how their McMaster experience has been so far.
So coming to Mac, as I said, I came from Mississauga, and coming to Mac was honestly one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I lived in Res first year in Les Prince Hall, and then I currently live in Westdale in a house with 8 of my friends that have lived for the past 3 years. And you know, McMaster's a great community. My program also has a great community, and you make a lot of friends in Res through your program, and just a bunch of different clubs and other opportunities on campus.
I am from Mississauga, and coming to university, I was a little overwhelmed. It's a big change, so the first kind of year and a bit was a big jump for me. But with the resources and the faculty, I kind of have overcome a lot of the challenges that I entered university with. And since then, I've really enjoyed my experience here. As AJ said, I've experienced so much of a community feeling, both with my program and people that I've met in Res and my housemates that I live with off campus as well. Overall, my experience has been phenomenal, and I'm so excited to talk to you guys about that today.
So I also lived in residence in my first year, and it's honestly an amazing experience. I recommend it to everyone, regardless of where you're coming in from. I'm still living with girls that I met on my floor in Res, and it was honestly an amazing experience. For the school overall, the classes here are great. I met a lot of amazing people, professors, students, and alumni. Yeah, overall, I've really, really enjoyed my experience here at Mel.
I also lived in residence in my first year, and it was a really great experience. I met so many friends, and I'm living with a couple still now. And then throughout my program, it's quite small, so I've gotten the opportunity to become friends with all my classmates, and it's been really cool to learn about myself and grow with my academics as well.
I also lived in first year, like pretty much everyone else on this panel, and I came from a very small town, so I didn't know anyone coming to Mac from my hometown, but I actually met 2 of my best friends in residence in first year during Welcome Week. Also in my program, it's a very small program, very specific, so you really get that sense of community. As well, there's a great sense of community within McMaster as a whole as well.
So, Bridget, you talked about Welcome Week, and since we're talking about residents, we've had a list of questions that have already been submitted to us. I'm actually just going to jump to the 5th question on the list. Someone had asked, when is move-in day? And so if you're wondering about that, that is, in fact, the weekend of August 27th, 28th. And so if you look interested in other dates, you can find all of those listed on start.mcmaster.ca, which is our guide for students who've decided to attend the university. And as dates are confirmed, we'll update those on that website. Again, start.mcmaster.ca. If you haven't been guaranteed a residence, another question that we had is, what's the application process for this? Well, you can simply apply to the wait list, and the closer your average is to the minimum that's needed for this year, September 2016, it's going to be an 81%. The more likely, as we work through the wait list, that you can be moved into a spot as they become available. The application for residence is not available now. Normally, it becomes active by the end of March, and that was one of the other questions that are available. Going to our list and back to our student panelist, our first question was, why did you choose to go to McMaster, and what does McMaster offer universities that other universities don't? And this question is from Mayan.
In terms of what McMaster offers, I don't want to really necessarily compare it to other universities because I don't want to disparage on the other universities, and they're all obviously very good choices. However, personally, I felt like McMaster was, I know we've already emphasized this before, McMaster is so strong on the community front, and we have over 300 clubs on campus, and obviously I'm not part of all of them, but they're great resources to get to know people, to kind of further your interest in whatever hobbies you have, and I think for me that was a big one, or that was a big advantage of coming to Mac.
Does anyone else on the panel want to tackle that question?
Yeah, I was just about to say one of the reasons why I picked Mac is because it's kind of got that cross between the big school feeling, but also having that community as well throughout the smaller programs, but also throughout the bigger ones. There's so many ways to meet people and build a community of your own, or find one that works for you. But if you want that big, school feeling, during homecoming and during welcome week, we have that, and it's just that perfect balance for me.
Okay. The next question that was on here was in relation to life sciences at McMaster. I know Krishni is in science, and so kind of what was the attraction for you in terms of life sciences, Krishni, to come to McMaster, for the Faculty of Science, and your attraction to it?
For sure. So Mac is one of the top schools in Canada and in the world, so that was a really big factor for me to come here. As I said before, I'm from Markham, so in the GTA, and I found that Mac was like that perfect distance that I could be away from home and be independent, but still be close enough to go back and see my friends and family. But with respect to science, or specifically with respect to science, there's amazing faculty here, and just a really, really diverse set of courses, which really attracted me. I have interests in biology, psychology, so I found that there was a lot of program selection for me in that respect. And finally, I was interested in health sciences or like sort of healthcare in general. Hamilton has, I believe, 8 hospitals, so there's lots of volunteer opportunities, lots of work opportunities for the summertime. So if that's something you're interested in, we definitely have a lot of opportunities for you.
Okay. And so another question, as I look through our list here, there was a student, Sanjeev, I believe, who asked, saying that I was admitted to the university, but I'm still not able to view the offer letter. What should I do? And so, Paula, do you want to kind of talk about that and what?
Sure, I'm happy to. So, first of all, first thing to know is that our official offer letters, we're going green this year. We're not sending out a bunch of paper to you, but it is available for you to view on your McMaster student portal. So you need to log on there using your Mac ID and password and click on the View Offer button to actually be able to see a PDF version of your complete offer letters, including all the conditions related to that offer. You need to make sure your pop-up blockers are off. We put that piece of advice right on the home page of the portal, so hopefully you'll do that ahead of time, but the pop-up blockers do need to be off on your browser in order for you to be able to view the letters. So make sure that you try and do that. If you have challenges, please give us a call. We're happy to try and walk you through it as best we can, and reach out to our office during office hours. We're happy to help.
Thanks, Paula. And actually, while we're talking about kind of the technological issues, there's another student who's indicated that they've applied to life sciences, but on their, I guess, OUAC, it indicates that there is no co-op. And so do you want to touch on that maybe a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And then actually I see a bunch of questions coming up I want to throw to the panel. I don't want to throw them off, but there's some good ones coming up on our question list here. So in terms of how the OUAC application works, we work on having a variety of sort of general first-year programs. So for example, if you apply to Life Sciences, you're in Life Sciences 1, and then you get a bunch of options after first year in terms of what you want to pursue your degree in specifically. And one of those options is co-op, specifically within science. All of our co-op programs actually start in your 3rd year. So you don't actually apply for the co-op stream until you're in your 2nd year here in the Faculty of Science. So that's why you wouldn't see that on your OU.
Oh, I think we've lost Paula's audio there, but there are some other questions on our list that were submitted before the broadcast, and so I'll turn this one to AJ. And so the question is, what are your thoughts on residence at McMaster? What were your first res houses like? Why do you like them? Anything to avoid? And the student says that I've already been guaranteed res, but I'm wondering in the application process, is it completely lottery-based? Or do we choose a favorite, and how do we get placed from there?
So I'll start with the first part of the question about what residence is like. So we have many residences on campus. I think like 12 or so is the magic number there. And a bunch of different styles. So most of them are traditional residences and single and double rooms, a few triple rooms, and usually share the bathroom with your floor, like you've probably seen at other universities or even on TV shows or whatnot. We also have apartment style and suite style residences as well. And if you want to look at these residences more in depth, you can either come in for a campus tour, or we also have virtual tours of these residences online on the McMaster website as well. So in terms of what to avoid, I think all of our residences are obviously very safe, very comfortable places to live in. You're given the same sort of basic necessities regardless of what residence you're in. So I don't really want to say that I have a favorite residence or a not so favorite residence, as I think they're all great choices. Now in terms of the second part of the question, you said that you're already being guaranteed res, but you were wondering in the application process if it's lottery-based or if you get to choose your favorite and get placed from there. So it's a little bit of a mix between the two. You rank your top 5 choices, and then from there on it's pretty much a lottery system. So you're put into like a big computerized hat. They pull out all of your names at random, and then they try to fit you in into whatever your highest, or whatever, out of all your choices, the highest one that still has availability, that's the one that you'll be put into.
I always kind of refer to it as the sorting hat from Harry Potter, except it's like a computer. But there's another question here. I know you're from Mississauga. It says I'll be living at home in Mississauga for at least the first 2 years, and I just want to know how I can go about being involved. Are you able to talk about that as well?
Yeah, for sure. So even though I lived on residence in first year, I did commute in later years from Mississauga, and also I have a bunch of friends from high school who also commuted. And it can be a little more difficult to get involved with campus life, of course, if you don't live, obviously, on campus. You're not directly involved with that sort of stuff. However, we have the Society of Off-Campus Students, or SOCS as it's called for short, which fulfills the same sort of basic community building and support systems that you would find in residence. And in addition, like I mentioned earlier a few minutes ago, we have tons of clubs on campus, I think more than 300, and you can definitely get involved with those, participate in them between classes or after class before you go home. There's a lot of options. And I think one event I just want to point out is during Welcome Week, SOCS holds this overnight sleepover for off-campus students in the gym. In the gym, I believe. And so it's just a cool place to get to know other off-campus students who you might even be commuting with and make friends that way. So there's definitely tons of opportunities to get involved, even if you live on campus.
You talked about sports for a moment there. I think was it Kim? Can you talk about how maybe extracurricular involvement in terms of sports, how they kind of play out with your academic schedule and balancing that? I know there was a question here. Someone was a really big fan of Ultimate Frisbee and I want to join Mac's team, but they're wondering about practices and games, and how does it affect their class schedule?
So my experience with sport is largely with the cheerleading team, and before I came to Mac, I emailed the coach to kind of find out more about the practice schedule, what the commitment was like. If you're looking at kind of a student-run sport versus a varsity sport, there are a lot of kind of different commitment levels across each type of sport, so it's really important to kind of get personalized information for the sport in particular that you're looking for. In the case of, I guess, Ultimate Frisbee, it shares a lot in common with cheerleading because they're both student-run varsity clubs. All that information can be found on the McMaster Marauder website, where they have all the different sport listings and the contact information for each particular sport. So I'd definitely recommend that you email the coach, get your foot through the door, kind of find out more information about the team and whatever you're looking for, and they would probably be able to help you out on a more personal level.
I'll turn it back over to Paula. I don't know if we still have you, Paula, in terms of your audio.
Yes, sorry, I'm not sure what happened there. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you perfectly clear.
Excellent. So I've got a question here, which I kind of will start with Devin and maybe work our way through the panel, because I think maybe a few of you might want to comment on this. But an interesting question that's got a lot of hits, which is, what are the people like at McMaster? I think that's people viewing, trying to get a sense, a feel for what the community is like. And I noticed that all of you have talked about the community at McMaster, and that's one of the things that attracted you to it. But could you define it a little bit and give maybe a little sense of what you find the community to be like at McMaster?
I find everyone super
Start with Devin.
And friendly, and that was something that kind of helped me make my decision about coming to McMaster. I just came on the campus and I could feel that everyone was kind of supporting each other, and it just felt very welcoming, and it's the kind of place that you just want to be. And when you're on campus, you just feel very safe, and you can ask anybody anything, and that's just the kind of community that I was looking for.
To go off what Devin said, I'll just make a comment referring back to Welcome Week. One thing that I really like about Welcome Week, and it kind of touches on the sense of community here at MAC, is we have these reps that dress in jumpsuits, different colored jumpsuits, and they'll actually station themselves around campus and make sure that like all the first years know where their classes are, know where they're going. So that's just one example of a great sense of community here at MAC.
Oh, I see.
Anyone else?
All right, I'm going to jump back in there.
Okay, go ahead, Paula.
Sorry, Andy. All right, so we have a couple other questions here. One of them is about sort of what's your favorite place to study on campus? Do you have a favorite haunt?
I have two favorite places. One of them is the reading room in the health sciences library. It's like this super big glass room that lets in all this natural light. So you just kind of like grab a sofa, and there aren't really desks there, so you just kind of grab a sofa and with your laptop, plug it in, kind of do your thing. I really love that place. And then also the second floor of the student center is super convenient for me because it's right in the middle of campus, and you can always kind of find a place to sit, find a plug, which is like really important. You don't think it's important, but then you have your laptop around all day and you really need it. And it's super convenient to kind of hang out between classes, or if you have an hour between classes, just to sit and hang out with friends.
So personally, my favorite study location on campus is this place in Mills Library called the Learning Commons. It's not traditionally a very good study spot. It can be kind of loud. It's not quiet like the rest of Mills and the other libraries on campus. But I kind of like the background noise and just kind of people doing their own things, and it's not as like intense as most library environments are.
I actually like finding empty tutorial rooms with some of my friends, and we just kind of hijack a room and study there. It's really great if we're all studying for a similar exam or test, just so we're kind of away from other people and we can make as much noise as we'd like.
Any other questions coming to you, Paula?
Yeah, so quite a few actually. Someone asked if there's a cooking club. I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to give a guess that there probably is, because of those 300 clubs, I'm sure there's one. And if not, it only takes 5 other friends interested in the same thing. You can start your own.
Here, I know the majority of our panel is from out of town, and so I'm just wondering if you can kind of touch on your, maybe starting with Bridget, on your experience in the city of Hamilton so far and how that's been for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I like most about Hamilton is it's actually the waterfall capital of Canada. So there's lots of different hiking trails, nature trails, conservation areas that you can go and kind of just relieve stress on weekends or at night and go on a nice hike. There's also a lot of really cool places in Hamilton that remind me of home, coming from a small town. So for any of you who have ever been here, Dundas is kind of like just this little community with nice little shops and nice little places to eat that really remind me of home. So I really like that about Hamilton.
Yeah, I kind of like that it's the perfect size city. It's just not too big, not overwhelming, and you can get a little bit of everything. So you can go downtown, get that aspect, and then there's also nature just around campus. So you can do various activities.
Anyone else want to chime in on their experience in Hamilton?
Yeah, I think the art scene is a big one here as well. I'm sure some of you have heard of Supercrawl before. It's like this annual big arts festival and music festival that happens in downtown Hamilton. I was going to say downtown Toronto. It happens every year, and there's a bunch of like indie bands and local Hamiltonian and Canadian artists that put up exhibits. There's always stuff to do in Hamilton, especially if you're a young student.
I am a huge foodie, and coming from kind of Toronto, Mississauga, I thought that, oh, no city can kind of live up to the food that I'm getting here, but I have been awed by the type of restaurants and the quality of the restaurants. A lot of them get featured on like the Food Network and that kind of thing, and there's always more to try out. There are more restaurants opening up, I think, really, really frequently, and I've loved trying new cuisines in different places.
Now, in terms of talking about food, there's a question here about a gym membership and how much that is. Are there any gym buffs among us?
I believe it's 137 for the 8 months of school, and then something like 167 for the full calendar year.
And I definitely recommend going to the gym because the freshman 15 is real. I ate a lot of pizza in first year, which is a bad idea. So going to the gym is really great, especially if you live in res. You have no excuse. It's right on campus. But it's a really valuable thing to have. It's a really great stress reliever too. So if you're like me and don't like working out, it's still a good way to kind of spend some time in between classes.
Yeah, also, if you're not so into the gym environment, there's obviously a bunch of intramurals. There's also Zumba classes that happen like 2 or 3 times a week, and step classes and spin classes, and there's something for everybody, really.
So, Devin, I'm wondering if maybe you and your partner there can tackle this one, which is what kinds of supports are in place on campus? Somebody's asking because they're concerned about coming into first year and maybe not, being able to handle the rigor of their classes, maybe not sure about exactly what the expectations are in some of their classes and how to handle a schedule in first year. So what kind of supports are in place, and have you availed yourself of any of those as a student, those kinds of things?
So if you're living in residence, the first person that you will meet is likely your community advisor, and that's somebody that lives on your floor, and they're there to help you out throughout your first year. Anything you need, academics, personal, any issues with your roommate, they're the person that you can go to. Their door's always open, and they're super friendly people that you just really want to get to know throughout your first year.
For me personally, I'm a Mohawk McMaster student, so we have lots of resources in the Mohawk building on campus here at Mac, and there's always, even across McMaster, like there's tutoring services, there's like the student wellness services, and there's always lots of people who will just be willing to help you out, like upper year students that will just like help you out, whether you're in the library or you can post on some of like the Facebook pages and ask if there's an upper year that can help you out.
There's also your teaching assistants and your professors. They're there to help you succeed, so make sure that you go to their office hours, you're going to tutorials, and just really asking any questions when you have them.
I'll throw it back to Paul if you are seeing any questions on your end.
Yeah, so I actually have a couple questions that I'm going to tackle because they're kind of about the admissions process and timeline and being asked in different ways. But just so you're aware, all of your offers that you receive for the most part are conditional, and that's why you need to look at those letters, read those conditions. The conditions that you see there, if there's a final average, let's say of 80% in the case of business, it is based on your top 6, including the ones required for business. So no one individual course has to meet that 80%, but all your required courses will be used in the calculation of your average. We will be continuing to make offers when we get those second semester midterm grades. Those usually roll out around the end of April. And all our by-selection programs, so that's Bachelor of Health Sciences, Arts and Science, Integrated Science, Nursing, those offers will come out typically the first week of May. So we're aiming to get everything out before May at Mac. That all depends on timing of when we get grades from the high schools, but that's our goal. And so a little plug for May at Mac, which is May 7th. That's our big open house, and we certainly hope everybody can come out. It's a great opportunity to see the campus, tour all the residences if you want, talk to people from your faculty, students, faculty members, and staff, find out about scholarships and tour the Pulse, which is our fitness center. Just see whatever it is you want to see before you make that final decision. So that was some of the questions that I can see here that were more program-based. Somebody was asking me, how long does it normally take to transport from your room to your classes, and what if you forget to bring something and have to run back?
So to our student panel, I guess, how long, or have you ever been in that situation, and how long does it typically take you to get from one place to the next?
Okay, so in first year, I lived in Les Prince Hall, which most of you probably don't know this, but you will know soon. It's a lot farther from the center of campus than pretty much any other residence. But even then, the max it would take me to walk to a class on like the other side of campus would be 10 minutes, and that's at like a pretty regular pace. In terms of if you forget something and you have to run back, it's usually not a big deal. I mean, unlike in high school, most classes attendance isn't enforced. Like if you need to run back because you forgot like a notebook or your pencil case, laptop, whatever, most profs and TAs would be pretty understanding. And yeah, anyone have anything to add?
Nope. In tutorials, there's smaller classes, so sometimes attendance might be enforced in kind of 20-person classes. But for a large number of first-year classes, they're in a big lecture hall setting. So as long as you're respectful and quiet on your way in and your way out, if you're not entering and leaving when kind of the normal flow of people are, it's usually totally fine.
There's another question here about dietary restrictions and how we handle that. I guess I can talk about that. If there are students out there who are watching that are considering McMaster, in terms of dietary restrictions, we have about 20+ cafeterias on campus. You'll find that most of your needs are met through these facilities. If you're living in residence, usually what you can do at the beginning of the school year, you meet with our executive chef, and they'll ensure that your needs are met in that way. So usually isn't a major concern because of the number of cafeterias or by virtue of meeting with our chef, we can get that resolved and ensure that you're adequately fed. Any questions from your end, Paula?
Well, just bridging off of that question, somebody asked what's the food like on campus, so I think that's a pretty easy question for each of our panel members to tackle.
So I found the food was amazing. There's a really good combination of healthy food as well as some not so healthy food, and it's totally up to you what you decide to eat. Again, we do have lots of different options. We have an entire vegetarian and vegan cafe, which is called Bridges, which has amazing food. So yeah, we really try to accommodate all your different dietary restrictions, and yeah, we do have a very wide variety of food. And there's 22 places to eat on campus, so lots of selection.
And I think one of the best parts about the food on campus is they're always trying to evolve. For example, Centro, which is one of the, I guess, cafeterias, primary cafeterias for residences, they kind of had a huge overhaul and added like a shawarma place, burrito place, Gorilla Cheese, if anyone is familiar with the food truck, and kind of always trying to make changes and add new things to the menu.
Also, I know Andy just touched on like accessibility in food, and we have something called the Bridges Cafe, which is one of the dining locations on campus, and it's completely vegetarian and vegan friendly. So that's great if you don't eat animal products. And in terms of halal, I think we have a lot of halal meat on campus, and Bridges also offers little packaged kosher meals as well.
Anything else from your end there, Paula?
So we're just kind of, I know we're coming up to our 7:30, but we've had a couple of people ask if we don't get to their question, where can they post it? So maybe you could answer that for them, Andy.
Yeah, so for questions that we can't address or don't address, maybe they're a bit too specific or we run out of time, you can go to future.mcmaster.ca/connect, and we'll post a response in text format for you to review. So future.mcmaster.ca/connect, and you'll find that there within the next 24 hours for you.
And I think maybe a good question to wrap up with, if each of the panelists could answer this, is given the chance, would you choose McMaster again?
Personally, absolutely yes, 100% yes. Like I said at the beginning of the when the panel just started, coming to Mac was one of the best decisions of my life. I made some of my best friends that are hopefully lifelong friends here. I just learned a lot. I love my program, and yeah, I would absolutely choose Mac again.
When I was in first year, I kind of made my university decision a little bit haphazardly. I kind of picked because of the program. I didn't tour any university. I really didn't go anywhere. I just said, okay, Mac looks good, and I went. And knowing everything that I know now, I wish I could have told my first year that, because I could have had so much to look forward to. And now that I'm graduating, I'm really sad, and I'm I don't know, I'm really gonna miss this place.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. Just thinking about moving out in a month is like gonna make me cry. I've really enjoyed my time here at Mac, made amazing friends, and I've really enjoyed a lot of my classes and just met amazing people. So I recommend Mac to everyone. I know I'm a bit biased, but I've had an amazing experience here.
Yeah, I'm really glad that I came all the hours over to McMaster. I think I grew a lot, and I became more independent, and it was just a really good community, and I'm really happy with how my academics have been over the past 4 years, and yeah, I wouldn't change anything.
So pretty much the same as everyone else. Obviously, I would pick Mac again. I could honestly say this, and I'm not saying this just because I'm on this chat, the past 3 years here at Mac have been the best 3 years of my life.
Any final thoughts from you, Paula?
I want to thank everybody, all our panelists, first of all. And we've got a ton of questions here, as Andy said. We will get to them and respond. We really do want to make sure you have the information that you need. For those of you that are still curious about things related to admissions, as much as we can, we'll get those answers out to you. But please do contact our office. If you still have detailed questions about your own specific situation, we'd be happy to help. And come and visit us. I had a question on here about, do I have to visit if I have, do I have to register for a tour? Please do. Tours.mcmaster.ca will have all that information from you, and I'll turn it back over to Andy.
Okay, and so I know there is a list of questions there, very specific to particular programs. We really wanted to use this opportunity to talk about the general student experience with our student panels, and so we'll definitely get those precise questions answered. But I'd like to thank you again for connecting with us this evening. We'll have this recording up on McMaster UTV, which is our YouTube channel. For those who have been admitted to McMaster, congratulations. Good luck with your decision. I also encourage you to get in touch with us through other apps like Instagram, Twitter, or Snapchat. Our account is @MacAdmit on all of those platforms. Once you log into our applicant portal at applicants.mcmaster.ca, you'll also see a link to the official and verified McMaster University Class of 2020 Facebook group, and there are about I think about 1,500 students on there right now, and it's a great opportunity to connect with other students in a similar position to you going through their decision process. Great way to connect with current and future Marauders aside from this chat. And so, again, thank you for joining us, and we will post all of our unanswered questions and responses to them at future.mcmaster.ca. From Hamilton and the Student Recruitment Office here at McMaster, on behalf of our entire panel, good evening and good luck. Bye-bye.